Hello everyone, here we are back again at our Invitational. And right now I'm joined by our fresh looking Press BOTW. How are you this fine evening?
I am doing fantastic today. It's the Invitational, can't complain about anything else. I'm not at work today, so I am super excited. And I actually managed to get this tie somewhat okay in under an hour, so not too bad.
Pro tip, like get a bow tie, they are pre-made and you just have to click them in.
I
That's my
was actually just thinking about it. I'm like, I should probably pick up a clip on tie for one of these. I'm a Magic player. I don't wear fancy clothes very often.
oh yes, when I just dressed up, I got like a nice snide comment. Okay, for this you're dressing up, and
Yeah.
like after running around for a year in home office, like living in the streets, but that's where the priorities are.
Yeah, exactly. So, anyway, this has been a super exciting invitational so far. I've been watching it on Twitch this whole time up till now. It's been phenomenal. So, I'm hoping round three, the first match we look at, is going to be super tight and just phenomenal to watch.
Great. So let's check in with our table spotters. If the players are ready to go.
Hey, Evil, how's it going today? Thanks so much for playing today, even though I know you're out already, but thanks so much.
Those were some nice games. I mean, somebody has to proceed, but I'm
Exactly.
always happy if I just see players jamming cards on the table.
Yeah, definitely.
So let's talk about the first match that we are looking. If I'm not mistaken, we are looking at Cliffclav versus Clarostorix. So we have the
Yes.
Wak Delver versus Esper Mentor. What do you expect from this matchup? If I'm not mistaken, Cliff is on the play.
So the way it works actually is in the lower bracket, players are supposed to roll to see how it goes. It's only in the upper
Oh,
bracket that your seating is maintained, as far as I'm aware. Um, I think this is gonna actually be a super interesting matchup here. Well, I just open up these deck lists here. So we have Clara Storks on the Esper Mentor deck, which is kind of an aggro control deck in the sense where it's just trying to, play out good value creatures, Snapcaster Mage, Baleful Strix, and then use Monastery Mentor to just absolutely flood the board with prowess creatures. I've been on the receiving end of this deck before. It kills you extremely quickly.
and I'm looking at the deck list. Do we have the new tech, the Off One Mind? Off One Mind is the card that will get you forward in this deck. It's if you do it right, draw 2 for 1 blue.
Yeah, there are two copies of One Mind in Clara Storks' deck list, which is super sweet. So
Okay, I think we are ready to go. Great. We have the players sorting out.
yeah, they're just shuffling up here right now. We just saw them roll the die there, so we'll be determining who is on play here shortly. But I don't know. This is a matchup. If you're in Cliff's position, you absolutely want to be on the play 100%. The mentor deck, I think, has a stronger long game.
I mean, it's kind of like the 4-color control deck. You don't see the Cologan commands to get back something, but instead you have the Unearth. You have Inquisition and Thoughtseize, still the same amount of hymns, and Teferi, Time Raveler still there to 2 for 1 you at any point, and 3 mentors to be the clock that you need to finish out.
Yeah, absolutely. So it looks like Clara Starks is going to be on the play, and then both players keeping their sevens. So we're off for round three here in this invitational. So this is exciting. Underground Sea into Ponder here. So Clara Starks is off right to the races.
What do you think? Do you play around Wasteland knowing that Cliff plays them in his deck, or do you just keep your fetches in the hand? Like, he knows there are no stifles. You can just. go ham with your fetch lands.
I honestly wouldn't be terribly worried in this particular matchup. Like, you're running 6 dual lands, and you also have 4 basics. It could also just be that there might not have been a fetch land in hand.
Okay. Digital Sloth, we are in our third round, so both players are on 1-1.
Yeah. And this is double elimination, so as soon as you get up to 2 losses, you are out.
Yes.
Yeah, and Cliff's starting off with just Delver Pass, which is probably the best place you want to be, especially in this matchup, because Cliff needs to come out of these gates fast. Swords. I like this a lot. Being able to hit the Delver, making it so that way it's very difficult to flip. This also plays around days too, which I really like.
Oh, Cliff is thinking here. Force of Negation, pitch.
Ooh.
This is aggressive. Ponder.
Yeah. It could also just be that Cliff might not have much action in hand.
But also you want to get rid of this this swords for later Snapcaster mages.
That's true. Yeah. That could be it. That could be a case as well. Yeah, knowing how many Snapcasters, Jace Vryn's prodigies there are, and everything like that, actually force of negation specifically on this sort of plowshares, I think is probably good. If that was force of will, maybe that is a bit aggressive.
Yes.
However, flipping this Delver is huge, and also landing a Wasteland is also very good here.
Okay. So do you take the blue?
It depends on what you're worried about. I personally would probably take the blue there. Largely. Yeah, I think taking the blue's probably right. And then we're gonna see force fire back. Wow. So that tells me Clara Starks doesn't have much for removal left, so we'll see how accurate that is.
Okay. So Cliff wants to get rid of the white because he does not want to see another swords.
Yeah. Eternal. Yeah, someone already cleansed the tournament of evil, indeed. Yeah. Smash for 3 with the Delver here. I actually don't mind the force of will on that Delver there, because double flip Delver would be very difficult to answer, even for the Mentor deck. Oh, Wasteland again! Oh!
That's where you want to be as the Delver player.
Yes, this is absolutely where you want to be sitting.
Like, do you even want to do anything, or do you just want to ride home on the back of the Delver?
I think, well, you know, the tempo game plan is play a threat and ride it to victory. But I think in this particular case, Cliff is more than fine just running this to the end, especially given that we've managed to take 2 of the dual lands off for Clara Storks there, and there's also 2 fetches here. If this is Wasteland number 3, this is bonkers, right? And in that case, Clara Storks is completely locked into fetching basics here, which is really rough considering you're a 3-color deck.
Yep. And like on paper, he's down to 8 life with those 2 fetch lands because you need them to be online.
Yes, exactly. So we're gonna get a brainstorm here.
So we have not seen any amount of red mana, so this might be something Cliff is looking forward now.
Yeah, quite possibly. In terms of what he's looking for, yes, he 100% wants a mana source here. Yes, sorry. I can't imagine he's content just sitting on this island for the rest of the game, but...
I mean, if there's not an answer on Close Stark's side, it might be enough.
Yeah.
Cliff is thinking hard here. So we see the
did
fetch
find the land. Yeah. Fetch, shuffle away those cards from Brainstorm.
Okay.
Of note, first life loss Cliff has experienced this game. Grabs the volcanic island. There are no copies of Wasteland in Clara Storks' deck. So Cliff can just go full ham on the
also
lands.
No Anguished Unmaking. So we saw the Esper Mentor deck. I think that was from Callum Smith, White Faces MTG, that included the Anguished Unmaking. That was replaced with a Vanishing Verse, which notably does not hit lands.
Yeah. One thing I just want to stress too, Cliff has now had 2 Delver Secrets countered by Force Pitch Force and then Force Pitch Jace. Like, man, those Delvers have been getting value out of Cliff for Cliff. Holy cow.
Oh man, so those are the kind of matches where you think, um, where you think as a burn player or as a depth player that you don't get any breaks for lunch in a tournament.
Yeah, for sure.
There are no easy games. You have to work for it every time.
Mm-hmm.
So we see a Brainstorm, Close Dogs looking for answers, fetching a Tundra.
Ooh. Fetches Tundra and Scrubland. Okay.
We see a Baleful Strix maybe.
No fear. No fear at all. Yeah, I think a Baleful Strix here would be really good.
I mean, if you have the Underground Sea on the battlefield, you just don't care because you've already seen 2 Wastelands.
Yeah.
And
for bingo, Clara Storks was hellbent before the trigger resolved. So this is actually kind of rough. And actually, I think that fetching up the duels is not bad considering that you already know 2 of Cliff's Wastelands are in the graveyard.
So,
Bolt.
Lightning Bolt.
On the bird. Smash for 3. Oof. This puts Clara Storks at 4. This is super low.
Do we have any ways to gain life besides Swords to Plowshares?
No, and it looks like Clara Storks just scoops it up after seeing the cards there. In terms of Cliff or in Clara Storks' deck?
Clara Storks. And I think Clara Storks had 2 lands in hand, so that's not what...
No. Other than the Swords to Plowshares, no, I do not see anything. Even
Cling to Dust.
Oh, there is a Cling to Dust? Oh, there is a Cling to Dust. Okay, so Clara Storks can gain life through that card.
Hidden behind the Fatal Push in our Cardboard Life setup.
Yeah. So, moving on to sideboards here, after that very, very quick game 1 there, Clara Storks has in his sideboard a copy of Court of Grace, 2 Flusterstorms, 2 copies of Fracture, 3 copies of Meddling Mage, 1 Nihil Spellbomb, 1 Null Rod, 3 copies of Plague Engineer, and 2 Surgical Extraction.
So I think those Plague Engineers are needed. We have a single 2-name Nemesis on Cliff's side. Also 2 Brazen Borrowers, so both are notably rogues.
Yeah.
And you can also having 2 young Pyromancers on the other side. That's maybe with the Flusterstorms 5 cards I might bring in.
I think given the young Peasies in the deck, I actually don't mind Plague Engineer that much. At the same time, I don't think it's absolutely phenomenal. And if anyone's curious as well why Clara Storks' deck list looks a little bit funky with the Snapcaster Mage, Clara Storks is playing a 61 card main deck.
Oh, now that you're talking about it, that's true. What do you think about Jace Vince Prodigy here? Do you think you have the time to play Jace, flip him, generate value?
I actually do like Jace here a lot. Just the ability to loot and then eventually being able to rebuy all of your spells is really good. Even if it's just uptick to make it so the Delver only does 1 damage. Like, that's really good.
Okay. So, looking at the list, we only have 2 forces. So what do you cut? Force of Negation seems like something that you don't want to see. Maybe a discard spell like Thoughtseize. Do you cut a hymn? Double black can be stressful on the mana.
It's possible. I don't know if I would, given the Ethereal Forager, because you're just gassing that card up if you miss on it. I'm not entirely sure what exactly I'd cut though, but I do like Cling to Dust a lot in the Ethereal Forager matchup. So,
Yep. Looking over on Cliff's sideboard, we have a Braids, Gravedigger's Cage, 2 Hull Breachers, 3 Pyroblast, Pithing Needle, 2 Clothes, a Sylvan Library, Surgical Extraction, and a Flusterstorm.
so in this particular matchup here, I actually really like Clothis a lot. Largely due to the amount of Snapcaster mages that you see, and also the incidental life gain from Clothis could potentially make it so that way you can kind of get out of there. I don't mind the Hull Breachers. I don't know if they're good enough, but they could be good, just given that they turn off of one mind, and also looting with Jace doesn't work very well either. Like, just straight up card disadvantage.
So I think the Sylvan Library, the clauses are like set in stone for me as bring in cards. Flusterstorms and Pyroblasts, you have to see, because Pyroblast does not get rid of Mentor, but you still have a few blue targets, most likely of one mind is the spell you never want to see resolve.
Yeah. Oh, I just noticed Cliff has a main deck of Braid. That's pretty cool. Huh. I didn't notice that. 2 copies of Forkbolt, too.
I mean, we see a lot of metagaming over here. So if you expected to see somebody on like Tensai playing against playing on his Cephalid Breakfast deck, you might want to have some better Skull main deck answer, because otherwise the matchup is really bad. But like Tensai is playing elves, like nobody saw that coming.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah, and Digital Sloth, I think you're right. In this particular kind of matchup, I'm actually a big fan of the Forked Bolt still, just being able to clean up some of the monk tokens that a mentor would leave. A Braid, while doing 3 damage, I think that's a card you could probably afford to cut, just because it's not terribly mana efficient compared to things like Lightning Bolt or Forked Bolt.
yeah. So while talking about these deck lists, the players know each other. They have been playing against each other in tournaments for over 3 months, playing in the leagues. So last Invitational, we had this like great showing of Torpor Orb in the sideboards, where Infect played 2 Torpor Orbs, Mono Red Stompy played Torpor Orb in the sideboard, just because everybody was respecting Tatha's Oracle and a lot of the value-based decks. So I think this Abrade main deck is one of the showings how you meta game in this kind of meta.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's one of the things that's super cool about the Invitational is that people have been playing with these players who they've been playing with for 3 months. They know what decks they play. And then trying to metagame each other in an open deckless field when you have over a week to prepare who you know you're playing against in double elimination makes it so fun.
Okay, we see Klaus Stoics going for the basics now. So that tells us that he doesn't want to see any kind of wasteland shenanigans here. Inquisition of Kozilek.
Yep. 3 lands.
Not a single wasteland.
Delver, Ponder, Sprite Dragon, Hullbreacher. Okay, so the Hullbreachers did come in.
That's one hell of a hand. What do you take here?
It depends. If you have removal, you take the Hullbreacher, I would say. If you don't have removal, you take the Delver.
I think
or the Ponder, actually.
Even if you have removal, like, do you want to keep it for the Sprite Dragon, which I think is the bigger challenge to, like, I've been killed one too many times by a, like, 5/5 Sprite Dragon that's protected by days.
Yep. Wow, so ends up taking the Delver there.
Yep. And of note, like next turn, if Klaus Stokes wants to stay on the basic plan, he needs to decide if he wants to get the basic plains or the island, or now that he knows there's not a single wasteland in Cliff's hand, do you think he's going for the dual lands?
That's a really good question. I still think that I'd probably stay on the basic train, just because that you're not Like you do not want to get blown out by a wasteland off the top.
Okay.
It also depends on the hand that Clear Storks has as well. And Freffy, yes, the leaderboard is resetting. So starting with the EU timed APAC tournament, Sunday morning tomorrow, that event will be the first event of the new season for the Season 4 Invitational.
So talking about the event, I think the event will start in 14 hours, and I will be hosting the event as the organizer for you. So if you want to get in early on the invitational boards, get some of these nice points that we have for the invitational, which should be in September, August.
It's gonna be end of July, early August, somewhere around there.
Yeah, okay. So then you can still register. The registration is open until 30 minutes before the event begins. And we have a few players, I think around 10 to 15 already registered.
That's not bad. That's really good, actually. I've played them before. They're a lot of fun. Would highly recommend, especially if you can make it for that time zone.
Oh.
Would highly recommend it.
Okay.
Just looking, and I just saw an update there. It looks like Champagne has won again. Oh my goodness. So Champagne moving on. Looks like Champagne was taking out Frosty in order to get there too. So it's a bit of an unfortunate run there for Frosty, but well played on making it this far, definitely.
Not bad. I mean, the burn deck does not have that many answers to Flying 2020.
The other thing too, hilariously, is because the Champagne is on green-white depths, Champagne can attack for 20 if someone survives, and then Swords to Plowshares his own Merit Lage in order to gain 20 life.
Our table spot over here getting us the nice news. Cliff commenting, Claustorix has nice hands.
Yeah. Good old table banter. So we're gonna get a Delver's Secrets here as well. So this is definitely a lot slower game than game 1 was. But yeah, it's I'm not entirely sure. You know, bit slower game. This is probably where Claire Storks wants to be rather than Delver just running him over. Glove model before COVID. Also, Charble, fantastic job on making it here today. Thanks for playing today. Good run. So,
Okay. There
we're
we
gonna
go. The white.
Tundra, yeah. If this is a Monastery Mentor, oof. Teferi, okay. Ooh.
Looks like this one is resolving.
Yep. And then are we going to uptick? Nope, downtick. Delver to hand. Draw a card.
100% down tick. That's a close to a time walk.
Yeah.
That's
very
time
much
walk
so.
that draws your card. And you still have to bolt it the next turn.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, these two fairies just... Ugh. They have a rough time.
Oh, I have been in this spot. I'm also like from time to time trying out my hands on some classic blue-white miracles, and this is one of the cards you never want to see.
Yeah. Oh, I lost my video there for a second. Yeah, it's I don't know. The new cards are so rough. Delver of Secrets again. So is this the... Oh no, this is the same Delver.
That's the same Delver.
Yeah.
Double fetch. Oh, we have the Sprite Ring, so at least you can take down the Teferi this turn.
That is true. Oh man. So unless the Sprite Dragon gets countered... Ooh. Ooh. Okay, grabs Vulcan Tundra. You know you're not going to get punished for this, so I think this is fine.
Oh, that's what I love to see. Like when the players know there's no wasteland they have to fear, they just go ham.
Yep, smash the Teferi.
Okay, so I wasn't expecting this. We only have 2 forces in Close Dogs decks anyway. Force of Will, notably. So very
In Claire
unlikely.
Storks' deck, there's actually 3 Force of Will, 2 Force of Negation.
Oh, so is it because of the 61 card? Yeah, that's shoving down the
Yeah,
third force a little bit.
it makes it down a little bit, or it makes it look a little bit bizarre. But yes, there are actually 5 Force of Wills.
The funny thing is, like listening to the podcast with Callum Smith, he said like he just took down the fourth force just for fun, for the memes, to have some players talking about why there are only 3 of them, and all the Esper Meta players, they are keeping at it. They just copy the lists and add their spice, but a lot of them keep the forces down to 3.
Yeah. So here's a mentor. This is huge clock now. This is an absolutely massive clock, especially having an extra land. If Claire Storks is able to cast a spell on Cliff's turn, this is really big because this is going to make 2 bodies that are able to attack. And of note, a monk token and the human monk monastery mentor turns on of one mind.
Oh yes. How many humans do we have in the deck? We have 3 monastery mentors.
We have 3 monastery mentors, 2 or 3 snapcaster mages, and also Jace Prodigy is also a human.
That's not too bad. And then we have 2 honors to get back those humans if need.
Yeah.
Oh,
Second Sprite Dragon. Okay, this is actually not super great for Claire Storks now.
do we see a bolt?
Bolt on the mentor, trigger the Sprite Dragons. Oh no. Cling to dust.
So, do you go for life or do you draw the card?
I think you draw the card right now. Yeah.
100%.
Especially because if that's able to hit a Force of Will and you get to keep your mentor, that's insane.
Yeah. So that's 5 damage incoming. Do you attack with Delve against the Monk token?
Actually, I think you do. Actually, maybe not. I think the Flip Delver's probably more valuable.
I'm not sure. Like, oh, we see a second volcanic.
Third Volcanic, actually.
Third one. Okay, we have 2 cards left in hand.
Yeah.
Oh, Fork Bolt. That's some real damage. One at.
That's a good way to clean up.
So where do we have Clovis Storks on life? So that should be 16, taking 7 damage. That's down to 9. Or is he already?
Let's see here. So Claire Storks is at 10. Cliff is at 11. Unearth. Get back the mentor.
Oh yes.
Now, does Claire Storks have the cards to chain together something else? Unearth is so good in this deck.
Okay.
Because if Claire Storks is able to Fatal Push, okay, this is good. This is going to trigger the mentor, make a monk. If one of the cards in hand is of one mind, this is unbelievable.
Off to the races. Oh,
Swords to Plowshares, the other Sprite Dragon. Oh my goodness. Make another monk. Okay, so now you're not too worried about it. So the question is if you have an of one mind as the last card in hand, do you wait and then use it next turn for the prowess triggers, or do you try and get a 4th body online?
I think.
Reveals Forkbolt to flip the Delver?
Ooh. But if Close Dogs has any amount of card draw, like a Brainstorm, something at instant speed.
Yeah. Yeah, you just take this if you're Claire Storks, go to 7.
How many spells do you need to cast to kill Cliff next turn?
From 20 life,
That's 16 left, divided by 3, that's 6 spells.
I believe so, yeah, because 5 is 15, yeah. Which is not going to be easy by any means.
Oh. Oh, nice point, Champagne. We have the Cling to Dust in the graveyard. So that's an additional 3 life and 3 damage that Close Dogs can present here. Cliff is thinking hard.
Yeah, Cliff definitely needs to think about this super hard here. Like, we know that there's the Fork Bolt in hand, but you still need to be super careful about what you do because one Prowess trigger is going to blow this out. Oh, hits the Mentor. Ooh.
Interesting.
Huh. So this turns off of one mine now.
Yes. But you can Snapcaster, unearth, get back the Mentor, and then off one mind.
Fracture. Okay. Or Vanishing Verse, actually. Ooh.
Vanishing Verse, another new set card.
Yeah.
Going in for 4.
Yeah, that does count as cast a Strixhaven card. Smash for 4 with the monks. Man, this deck is cool. I really like the Monastery Mentor decks just in general.
Oh, we knew about this Hull Breacher that Cliff kept open the whole time. So
yeah, this Hull Breacher's coming in. Now, do you block with the Hull Breacher? Or is this end step?
no, this is end step.
Okay.
So Cliff attacks.
Oh, attacks for 3. Okay.
Oh, that was the only white source.
Oh, wow. And puts Clara Storks down to 4 life. Oh, no.
Close Dogs is under real pressure here.
Absolutely. Man, you know, Cliff has always given himself crap for never having played Delver through any of the events in order to get here, but I gotta say, he's piloting this deck very, very well.
Yes. I'm really glad to see that he's doing so well with a deck that he never played. Cliff is known for Dredge. He's known for Painter, if I'm not mistaken. What do else?
He plays Oops All Spells and Dredge primarily, or was running Oops All Spells in order to get to the Invitational, but Cliff is historically a Dredge player, dabbling in Painter. Yeah, good choice. And then, no bias.
No
and
bias
then
at all.
brings Delver to the Invitational, which is kind of out of left field, and it's paying off in spades. Yeah.
Oh, update from our table spotters.
Oh,
10
wow.
size up 1-0 against Curious. So
Man.
that must have been one hell of a match that it took until now. But I mean, that's 4 colors control for you.
Yeah. So we're going to get a Sprite Dragon off the top. This is bad because this is a flying hasty creature. If there's a bolt in Cliff's hand, this is lethal. Poke for 1. Clara Stork's deep in the tank. Of note as well, this is the lower bracket. So a loss here eliminates you from the Invitational.
Do we have the Fatal Push left?
Yes we do. Fatal Push on the Dragon. Prowess triggers on the monks. Wow. Come on, let's see an of one mine, please. Scrubland.
We don't want to see off one mine. That's an evil play. That's that's just making you treasures on Cliff's side. I think this might be a flashback. Cling to Dust. So gain 3 life, attack for 6 or attack for 4? What do you like here?
I leave the Snapcaster back.
That's a good
I would
choice.
say. I think. I could be wrong, but You definitely need to start getting some amount of damage in here, but the issue is that you absolutely cannot block, or you cannot swing all out and not have a blocker. Just because that there are direct damage spells in Cliff's deck, and this Hull Breacher has you functionally at 1.
That's true. I mean, Fogbolt is lethal, isn't it?
Fourth Bolt would be lethal with the attack. Yeah, and Clara Storks being at 4 life is really low. Or is Clara Storks at 7? Okay, it looks like the table spotter just clarified, and Clara Storks is actually at 7, it seems like, which is much better than 4.
Oh yes, she just clinged to gain some life because
Oh, that's right.
you don't cling because of the Hull Breacher for drawing cards. That's what we just missed.
Yeah, I forgot about that entirely. Thank you very much for pointing that out there, yeah. So is this just an attack with the Snapcaster for 2? Oof. Oh, JVP, let's go! Let's go, JVP!
But with the Cling to Dust in the graveyard, I don't think we are able to flip Baby Jays soon. How much do we have left?
Kind of depends. There's still a fair chunk of cards in the graveyard there. This Ethereal Forger is huge, though. This is a flyer.
This is...
And, oh no. Bolt, bolt, bolt to hand.
Is it Fogbolt?
2 Forked Bolts and a Lightning Bolt to the Ethereal Forager. Wow. So if this Forager gets to attack, you're in a real rough spot. Looks like there's 6 cards in graveyard, I think I counted.
Oh, and don't forget, if you activate Jace, you still have the Hull Breacher on the battlefield, so you lose a card.
Yeah. And also, Cliff will make a treasure.
Yes.
But that being said, it might be worth it to flip this Jace. Yep, taps the Jace.
Nope.
No, you can't do that. You cannot do that. Yep. Table spotter got it. Perfect. Our players got it as well. Yeah, discard a card.
Sadness on the stack.
Yep, discards island. Flip it over. I think having the island in hand as well, you definitely just discard.
Yeah.
Louis Fidel 320, thank you very much for the follow. Much appreciated that you'd spend your time here for on your Saturday.
So for our new players, we are in the 3rd round of our Legacy Invitational from the MTGPL Legacy Discord. We have 8 players who grinded for over 3 months to gather points and play it out in our double elimination bracket. Right now we are looking at the players from the losers bracket with Claristorics on Esper Mentor against Cliff on Wack Delver, and this is the 2nd match.
Yeah. Of note there as well, flipping the Jace to go get the Vanishing Verse in order to hit the Ethereal Forager is really good.
That's a heads up play. And following next turn, you can just uptick on the Hull Breacher and just go in swinging at Cliff, because Cliff is down to 6 life now.
Yeah, and this is, I agree, this is actually like a really bad spot for Cliff to be in. And also, Jace allowing, with the down tick, turning Hull Breacher into a 1-2, you can actually attack with almost everything. And that's going to be until Claro's next turn. Oh no! Oh no!
What do you name here? Because you don't care about the Hull Breacher, do you?
No, I think what you do here... so apparently the name is human. I could also see either Fairy or Dragon being a good one. Fairy specifically being that it hits Sprite Dragon and also hits Brazen Borrower.
Yes, you can also name Rogues, but human is a heads-up play because it hits the last 2 Delvers, it hits the Pyromancers.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And so we got Claristorks evening this up. We're going into Game 3. This is so exciting. Man, these games have been fantastic today. Thank you very much for everyone being here. And also, we did miss it, ZU. Thank you very much for the follow.
So, do you think there are some sideboard changes being on the plane, on the draw? Like taking back in more dazes on Cliff's side?
Yeah, I actually don't think much would change in that particular case. Like, yeah, the dazes would probably go in or out. I'm not entirely sure on that front. I'm not a Delver player for a reason. But I don't think too much would change. Cripson114, thank you very much for the follow. Much appreciated. Looks like there's 38 minutes left in the round timer on this one, so that's all good as well. I don't think much would change, honestly.
Yeah, I'm with you there. So, I mean, we had a great showing from both decks, and Cliff just bricking these last 2 turns, drawing lands. Like, if we had a single lightning bolt before, this game could have been over at any point. So I don't think that this was a bad showing for any deck here.
Yeah. I do kind of like the Quarter Grace out of Claire Storks' sideboard, but at the same time, with the presence of Forked Bolt, that's a huge risk.
I'm not sure that you want to play a Force Seam C card against an aggressive deck that gives him the Monarch when he has hasty creatures to take the Monarch immediately. So that's not the point where you want to bring this in.
Yeah, I do think that the 4/4 Angels would be absolutely massive in the matchup. However, I think the risk of giving Cliff the Monarch is far too great to play the card to bring it in.
I mean, if your opponent does not have any creatures on board and you have enough mana left, you are in a good spot, most likely. Mm-hmm. So then you are winning anyway. No need to bring in a dead card in the early game.
Yeah. So Cliff's going to be on the play for Game 3 here, though. Man, what a fantastic day this has been, too. Thank you so much, everyone, for spending your Saturday with us.
And also, Cliff being on 6th place means that he didn't have like any rounds on the play this turn, like in the first 2 games. And I think Claire Storks also started off the first game being on the play, if I'm not mistaken here.
Yeah. So we're going to get Cliff going off there. Looks like they both keep 7. So we got just Volcanic Island out of Cliff, and Claire Storks goes Fetch Land.
No Stifles in the 75, so...
I do find that kind of interesting, especially given that Cliff is basically blue-red Delver with a light green splash for 3 sideboard cards, and that's it. You know, being Clothis and Sylvan Library, which are totally worth the splash.
Okay. So we are seeing, again, Inquisition of Kozilek turn 1. So... what do you think? We have like some cards hidden with a Brainstorm. What do you want to hide here playing against Claire Storks?
I'd want to hide a Sprite Dragon, personally. I think that makes sense. I guess playing it into removal, if you can't do anything with it, would be kind of hard, but...
okay, yeah. While Cliff is thinking, we got an update from our table spotters that Tensai beat Curious, so we have Elves going to the next round, and Tensai is in the winner bracket for the finals, so the person playing against the next person has to win 2 times over here.
Yeah, so of note, because this is double elimination, Tensai basically has a bye for the next 2 rounds, I think, until we manage to basically get back to whoever has to play against Tensai in the finals. So... because we have to work out the lower bracket as people get eliminated until we get back up to normal. And also, I missed it a little bit earlier. Apologies for forgetting the name, but we do have a bracket graphic, and we can bring that up at some point there. So it looks like the Inquisition of Cause is going to resolve double Brazen Borrower, Lightning Bolt, Pyroblast, and Sprite Dragon. Oof.
Okay.
What
so
could he have put back with the Brainstorm?
I have no idea.
Man, that hand's really good. Like, you put 2 cards back and that's still so good.
Okay, Pyroblast. So we might see some really good blue cards on Cloud side. Maybe a Teferi?
Yeah. There we go. Autofocus is fixed.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure, but you know, this is still going to be a rough start here because Cliff's going to be able to untap, play this Sprite Dragon, and just start smashing. Sprite Dragon. Smash.
Down to 18. What do you think of the like alternate art Sprite Dragon, the Solar cards?
I think it's fine, but that's largely because the concept of a fairy dragon just makes me chuckle. So having a card that looks like that on a fairy dragon, I think, is okay. I also like the way that they did the Godzilla crossover, whereas that they are all actual cards that just have alt arts, which is super cool. So that doesn't really bother me too much there. PM Gainer 1, thank you very much for the follow. Much appreciated.
So looks like we hit a Brainstorm, because that's what we are casting right now.
Yeah. So Brainstorm was one of the cards that was actually hidden by the other Brainstorm. Also, Cliff with the mismatched Brainstorms for maximum tilt.
Like, did I talk to you about my new idea for Doomsday? The Highlander artwork Doomsday, where no single card has the same artwork, except for the Underground Seas. I think that's the only card that you can not choose different artwork from.
That's awesome. We're going to get a mountain now. Okay, so we have... I imagine this is probably going to be a Forked Bolt. Oh, Lightning Bolt. Actually, I think that makes sense given that the Snapcaster Mage and also Mentor coming down could potentially be a better use for Forked Bolt.
Yeah, I think so, but I mean those baleful Strixes are really annoying for Cliff.
Yeah. So here we go. So you can actually see on the bracket here, just above where I am right now. So Clarosaurus and Cliff need to play. The winner of this match goes on to play Champagne. The winner of that match plays Quirios, and the winner of that match plays Tensai.
Oh yes. By the way, we did not see a fetch land on Cliff's side, so we know there are 2 Brazen Borrowers in his hand.
Yeah.
And he's kind of wasteland locked right now. So depending...
Well, not necessarily Brainstorm lock, because that we've already cleared the Brainstorm at this point. The other thing as well is with the Volcanic Island, Cliff can still cast them. And we do know that there are no wastelands in Clarosaurus' deck.
Yeah, but like the Brainstorm cards he put back are still on top, and I don't see... Okay.
No. This is turn 3, so he cleared both of them out because he drew a mystery card, then he cast the Brainstorm for the other one.
Didn't he cast the second Brainstorm right now?
He cast the second Brainstorm last turn. Bolted the bird, then attacked for 2, and now it's Clarosaurus' turn again.
So that's where we have the 2 cards on top. Okay. So
there we go. Swords to Plowshares, gain 3. Puts Cliff up to 23 life.
So what do you think about the basics game that we are having here?
I actually like what Clarosaurus is doing right now. Kind of playing around Wasteland in this particular case. I actually do like it a lot. Especially given that Clarosaurus' deck is not super color intensive outside of him to Turok.
Yep, that's the only card next to Jace that's double pip that you cannot cast for free, potentially. Okay, so Baleful Strix.
Yeah. And then, yeah, Doc Claro is winning the basic game for sure. And, yeah. So we got another Sprite Dragon, Fetch Land. Okay. So we're finally able to go grab more non-basics. Again, you don't have to worry about getting punished for it, and for either. Well, Claire Starks has to be worried about it. Cliff does not.
That's the game Deva wants to play.
Yeah.
But still, Close Dogs is at a healthy 14 life, and like he has a hand full of cards, and like bouncing this Baleful Strix is still at a bad spot, just to get in 2 damage.
Yeah. Again, we do know about the Forked Bolt still. Preordain. Okay, so we're getting a counter on it. Let's go. Let's fix the next 2 draws. 1 top, 1 bottom. Yeah, so puts the card into his hand instead of drawing, or just shortcuts that part. And then, Pyroblast on the bird. Interesting. Still saving those Fork Bolts.
Okay. So what's the one card you don't want to see from Close Dogs when you are Cliff?
I think if you're Cliff, you're actually in a really good position. If I am there, though, I just don't want to deal with a Teferi right now.
Yep.
1 card left in hand for Cliff. Maybe I'm misinterpreting something. Either that, or maybe I'm thinking of last game where he had 2 Fork Bolts underneath the whale. I could be wrong, but...
So there we see what we...
Teferi bounce. This is super good, because that also undoes 2 damage counters. That said, though, Clara Stork still needs a way to deal with it, because the Sprite Dragon is going to eat the Teferi next turn.
I mean, we are still on Time Walk basis.
Yeah. Well, bouncing it with 2 counters is also really good as well.
So how many cards do you have in Close Dog's hand?
Looks like probably 4. Like, oh my gosh. Ooh. Oh, that was a very fast force of will. That was a very fast force of will.
Of 1 mind.
Yes, okay, pitching of 1 mind. So we did get to see the card, but not in the capacity that we wanted. Oh yes, 5th edition Brainstorm. Give it to me, Cliff.
So, okay, Klaus Dog seems to be down to 3 cards in hand now.
Yes, 3 cards. Yeah. So, Starks did have 5. And that being said, cashing in that force for the Sprite Dragon's gotta feel really good. Puts 2 cards back. Forked Bolt on the Teferi. And then 1 upstairs.
Okay, update from our tournament organizer. We have 25 minutes left in the round, but with this being round 3, I think we have plenty of time to see this match being finished.
Yeah. Of note here as well, the other thing too is that we are on 1 round for the rest of the tournament. Only 1 round at a time. There we go. There's the Twitch chat. Ooh, Forger off the top. Oh, I guess that's off of a Brainstorm even then.
Yeah.
Gets the Brainstorm.
I think we have
Lightning
some
Bolt.
Pyroblasts and a Fork Bolt maybe. Or do you take the Preordain?
I kind of like the Preordain.
Digging for answers.
Oh, take 2nd Brainstorm. Interesting. I do really like the Pyroblast though too, because it's just a clean answer to anything Blue Clara Starks plays. So basically anything outside of a Monastery Mentor gets hit by that Pyroblast, which even then the Bolt can pick it up.
I like the him.
Oh no!
Immediately.
Immediate swords right there. That being said, this is going to put Cliff up to 25 now.
Yes, but we are not going to time. And also, there's no Kaya in the 76. So, cards in exile do not matter this game.
Yeah. Draw a card. Man, this whole day's been absolutely phenomenal.
I love to see it. Another
Cast a
bait
burb.
mix.
Death burb, let's go.
I think Klaus Stokes is in a pretty decent spot. Cliff is hellbent, he has a million life, but like you don't care about life totals in this control matchup. Like passing the turn, probably a land on top.
Yeah.
Untapping with a card in hand and 6 open mana.
Yeah. And Pidings, thank you very much for the follow. Thanks for spending your Saturday here with us. So, man, this. We're at 6 mana now for Clear Storage, which is a lot. Of note here, too, Cliff is Hellbent / on one card. So, Cliff needs to start getting some cantrips if Cliff's going to dig his way back in here. Because yeah, attack for 1. One thing you have to be worried about, though, if you're Clear Storks, would be a Hull Breacher, because a Hull Breacher in response to a Brainstorm would be an absolute blowout.
So, Cliff, drawing card, passing. Do you think you just keep, like, collecting cards and overloading? I mean, it smells a little bit like Klaus Stokes has a force in hand and just wants to hardcast it.
I think given the amount of cards that Clear Storks has in hand, he basically can afford to just do pretty much whatever he needs to do. Like, he's so far ahead in terms of board position right now. That said, he is at 8 life, whereas Cliff is at 24. So it is something you still have to be very mindful of. Oh, we got a Teferi here, though. Ugh.
So, do you think you attack and just replay your own Baleful Twigs? I mean,
given that I have 2 cards in hand, I could actually see that being really good. That said, though, I think the Teferi is still on the stack. Red. Bolt the bird.
oh.
Or is that a bolted face? Bolts upstairs. Oh, second bolt upstairs. Oh my goodness. Clear Storks is down to 2. Ooh, we have a game.
This is getting spicy.
Yes.
How many bolts do we have left? I'm pretty sure like there's one in exile.
Yes, there is one in exile. However, we still have the forked bolts, and also a Sprite Dragon potentially could come in as well. But oof. In this case, I really like down ticking on the bird, and then replaying it. Yeah, down tick on the bird, draw a card. Replay bird, draw another card.
Missing this 1 point of damage, but I don't think if you get down your mentor that you really care about this.
Yeah, replay bird. Good call, good call. Wow, double bolt from Cliff. That's awesome. Let's see, can he get the 4th and final bolt off the top? Doesn't look like that's a bolt. Would have just flipped it over if it was.
That's a slam dunk right there.
Yeah. Oof, Clara Storks at 2 and Cliff at 24. Wow.
It seems to me Klaus Storks might be in the lead right here because like you have a lot of Snapcaster mages. This opens up Swords lines to Swords your Snapcaster mage, and just being on the crisp of like staying above lethal damage. There are 4 swords, 1 cling to dust. So this is a game of control right now.
Yeah, looks like he just passes back. Cliff just precariously looking at the card. Oh my goodness! Stomp!
Do we see the force?
Snapcaster Mage. Oh, we're gonna hardcast a Forcible off flashback? Oh man! Oh! Yes! We gaming! We gaming! Wow, 7 mana to just Snapcaster. Actually, I think that's one of the first time that I've actually seen a actual paid flashback Force of Will. Yeah, that was sweet. Yeah. And also, yeah, Champagne. Yeah, you can't daze with the Teferi out, so there's no fear with that one.
Yes. Also, like Cliff had to play it here because if there is a Snapcaster, potentially Klaus Stokes can
8 lands if you're playing bingo.
Yes.
Just while I'm thinking about it.
Klaus Stokes can flashback the Hymn to Torak in the end step. So that was the correct choice to just play out your cards, because everything you're not playing might just get discarded in your end step.
Yeah. Man, what a way to dig yourself back out of this, though. Wow. Of note here, too, actually, just while I was thinking about it earlier, Clara Storks is making the joke that out of every single player in this invitational right now, Clara Storks is the only one who has not won either a league or a weekly challenge. And I just said, why not just start today?
He's definitely like doing a good job and working on it. So yeah. I really like what we're seeing here.
Yeah, definitely. And Cliff's trying as hard as he can to dig to anything, because he just needs a Fork Bolt, another Bone Crusher Giant, the last Lightning Bolt, anything like that. Oh, I just realized there are 2 Mercadian Masks Brainstorms in Cliff's deck. For shame, Cliff. We got 2. Young Peasy, not bad.
Okay.
This is actually a very real threat for Clara Storks right now.
Cliff going Hellbent again.
Yeah.
So
Pyromancer resolves. Passes the turn back. So, the reason why you got to be careful about this is because if Cliff's able to draw a cantrip and then go cantrip, oh, never mind. Never mind.
Ouch.
Plays Plague Engineer. And then names Human with it, yeah. That was quite the draw from Clara Storks there. Uptick on the Teferi. Now it's out of Delver / Bolt range. Although that being said, the Bolt's 100% going upstairs if Cliff is able to draw it.
We are down to 20 life on Cliff's side, so I mean we have a 4-turn clock.
Yeah.
Possibly, but
and that's the other thing too, is even though we have Sprite Dragon in the deck, the Sprite Dragon is going to trade with that Baleful Strix too. Okay. So something we just need to be mindful of. Draw.
Do you think there's the Force in hand?
I could see that. Yeah, I think now this game is very, very quickly starting to slip away.
And I think we might be seeing a flashback to him.
I could see that. Just discard the last card in hand. Like, get the value out of it now because you're so close to just running no cards. Flashbacks ponder during Cliff's end step with the uptick on Teferi.
By the way, like, how many basics does Cliff play? Because
Cliff runs, I believe, 3.
Because did he fail to find? He has.
There's 1 mountain and 2 islands.
No, there's a tropical, a volcanic, and 2 basics.
That's actually interesting. Yeah, maybe he did fail to find. I find that interesting.
Maybe he took out a single basic island.
You never know. Yeah, actually, our table spotter pointing out, did he fail to find? -3 on the Snapcaster Mage. Ow. Yeah, it looks like Cliff just failed to find as far as we can tell. Interesting. And yeah, we're swinging big time, and Clear Stork's hand is just full of cards. I would be so impressed if Cliff managed to come back from this. Wow. Or sorry, I guess all Cliff technically has to do is get a counter lightning bolt that does damage, but Clear Storks has done a fantastic way of clawing his way back from the game. Pardon me. So, because he was at a precariously low life total against Burn, being at 8 and then just double bolt down to 2, and oh my gosh. So this is Snapcaster Ponder. It looks like.
Dog here with our nice comments, snappy to plow the dragon. No. So what's the official PG rating of our stream here?
Yeah. Oh, he cannot end a turn Ponder, right, because he down-ticked the Teferi. Oh. Uh-oh.
Okay.
Uh-oh. Yeah, Table Spotter's jumping on this one right now.
But I'm pretty sure we have a brainstorm in the graveyard, so that's an easy fix to do.
Yeah. So we'll have to figure this one out. Actually, Cathar, you're a judge, so...
That's one of these points.
Apologies, everyone. One of the things about playing over paper is you don't have, like, on Magic Online, you have a rules engine that just enforces it. You can't do this, period. Illegal actions cannot be made in Moto and stuff like that, whereas that in paper, sometimes you get so busy that you forget about certain things, so... But anyway, we are the MTG Paper Legacy Discord. This is our quarterly invitational, Season 3 for this, and it's been an absolutely phenomenal event so far. We're on round 3 right now. This is a double elimination event. Each player has been playing for 3 months in order to acquire the points to play in this event. Cliff being 6th seed, Claire Storks on 8th seed. And it's just been an absolutely phenomenal day of Magic. Exclamation point Discord in the Twitch chat will get you a link to join the Discord if you would like to play as well. We just play Paper Legacy over webcam all day, every day. And this is all we do. And this is the biggest event that we have right now. And it's been 3 months of work for all 8 of the players today in order to make it to this point. And it's been an absolutely phenomenal event to watch so far. I hope everyone else is enjoying it too.
So we are working on figuring out how we just roll back the turn, going back to Cliff's end step where the Snapcaster was cast. As we the Snapcaster targeted the Ponder, but the target is still valid, being on the Ponder. So we have to find out what Close Stoics. We will take a random card from Close Dog's hand, put it back on top of the library.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to. But for anyone else who's curious, though, just while this judge ruling is being resolved, we also offer our weekly challenges and monthly leagues. So for reference, these challenges in the leagues that happen on Saturday and every second Sunday for the weekly challenge, I should say, those events, every match win you get will earn you a point to qualify for this invitational. Another thing as well is that we have monthly leagues. So the sign up for the May League is open right now. And what that'll do is you play round robin in pools of between 6 and 7 people normally. You play round robin. The winner of each pool will move on to the playoffs. And then we record those videos for YouTube and then put them out as well. So it's been really fun. I've played in every single league so far. I would highly recommend it as a good way to getting into playing Legacy over webcam. It's low stress. It's tons of fun. You play at your own pace. It's not like you have to commit to 5 or 6 rounds of Magic in a single day. So it works out really well. Okay. But yeah, Cathar, what's the ruling there?
So if we are on a GP, the official ruling would be that Cliff is able to, Close Dogs has to present his hand and Cliff gets to choose what is put back on top. But since we are not on a GP, we are like taking a random card from the.
Yeah. Oh, Cliff looks like he just takes up the volcanic island and just packs her in.
Okay, that's the days.
So, yeah. So this is going to be the end of the road for Cliff here. Thank you so much for playing today, though. Congratulations as well. Cliff was actually right on the bubble of making it into the Invitational, and on the last Saturday to qualify for this event, he ended up spiking the tournament 4-1, getting through there. Lost in the finals there, which were fantastic finals, by the way, but it locked him up 6th seed, which was very good. So fantastic run by Cliff here. Special shout out as well to Charble, to Evil, and Frosty as well. We are now down to 4 players remaining in the Invitational, and super excellent play so far from everybody, and thank you so much for grinding for 3 months in order to get to this point and for playing.
So this is the last round of commentary for me. I will head over to the spotting table and see how the players are doing. Thank you for having me on. It was a joy to commentate on this tournament and seeing these players play. Who will be joining you next round?
I believe in the next round, I will actually be joined again by Doc. So that's all good. And then me and Doc are going to probably have to talk here because we're going to give the players a short break, especially given that Claristorix, if Claristorix wins out from here, is going to be on a long grind. Because Claristorix, again, has to play Champagne next. Then if he wins, he's got to play Quirios. And then if he wins, he's got to play Tensai and potentially beat Tensai twice. So there's potentially up to 4 more matches of Magic if Claristorix is going to go the distance here. So
while I'm heading out, I would like to make a mention again that our league on the Paper Legacy Discord is still open for registration until Tuesday. So we are at 90 players right now. So if you want to play in the monthly league, where you get to be playing in the pool with 6 to 7 people playing against each other, seeing who's making the most wins, taking the pool home. You go to the second phase where we have a top 16 or top 17 with the playoffs, and those top 16 players are playing against each other to see who's the winner of the monthly league. In the open deck list, in the open pool phase, we have free deck choice. You can change your deck on any match, and later on in the top 16 we have fixed deck lists. So if this is something for you, please feel free to join us on our monthly league, where we will be seeing who you can play against, because we get to get some nice mixed pools from all over the world.
Yeah, so the league registration will be open until I believe it is midnight or 11:59 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time on Monday, May 3rd, and then pool play will begin Tuesday, May 4th.
I think we need to update the links on the Google form, which is still for April. Let me get an updated.
We'll make sure that the link is able to be here in Twitch. Otherwise, you can swing by the Discord and then get the most updated link there.
Okay. So with this, I'll be saying my goodbyes. We might be heading into a short break.
Yeah, we will be heading into a short break, but Doc and I will be back in order to go and bring us in for that break there. So
nice.
And thank you very much for commentating today, Cathor. I know it's late at night for you, so.
Yeah, it's 10 p.m. right now, so which is still pretty fine over here in Europe, but it was a joy. So.
Yep. Thank you very much, and we will be back shortly.
Goodbye.